Hello, everybody. So today I'm very honored to introduce you to my artist spotlight person, Emmanuel Calderon. Is that how you pronounce your name?
It's
How do you?
exactly how you pronounce it. Yes, it is correct.
Nice. Okay. Or you call yourself Chef Cabro?
Yeah,
Or,
Chef Cabro. That's my nickname. But then also because my accent, I always have hard time saying Emmanuel to everybody, and I have to
yeah,
repeat myself. I always say, okay, Chef Manu, because it's just
Manu.
easy, and everybody
Yeah.
get it at the first time.
Yeah. So you have three names.
I have way
Emmanuel.
more names. I have
Oh,
way more
more
names.
names. Okay. Chef Cabro or Chef Manu. Yeah. So, well, which one should I call you then?
I think you can go just with Chef Manu. That's the easy one.
Oh, I know. I just Chef. Hi, Chef. How about that, Chef?
That's good too.
Manu. Okay. Well, Chef Manu is the executive chef of Goldfinch Tavern, four-season hotel in Seattle. So, welcome, Chef. Thank you
Thank you
again
so much.
for yeah, thank you for your time here, your busy day. We're just gonna chat today about getting to know you a little bit more. I think I see chef as an artist as well. Some chefs don't think they're artists, but I think they are. So I'm glad to find you. We kind of found each other on the Instagram, and I enjoy some of your work. Well, it's called work or food, right? Enjoy some of your food as well. It's really nice. So today is a chance for us to get to know you a little bit more and ask you questions and get to know your background and how you get to be a chef. And yeah,
Absolutely.
so let's just get started. How about just give us a little bit of your background, like tell me about yourself, where are you from, and yeah, so let's start there.
All right, sounds good. So I will try to be very quickly, right? So obviously, I'm not from here. I'm originally from Mexico, right?
Uh-huh.
I was born in the south part of Mexico, in the state of Tabasco. But then, I've been very lucky to move with my family and with friends around the country. So most of my when I was younger, I grew up in Cancun, which is the peninsula of Yucatan, and that's where I most likely I spent all my teenagers years, right? I've been living in other regions of Mexico, like Monterrey, which is in the north, Mexico City, which is in the center of the country, and Cancun, which is the very last part of the country. And that's where I come from, and I really believe that this moving around is what eventually will help me to become a cook. Then I moved to the USA. I've been in and out of USA. Has been always for work opportunities, right? I was a cook back in my hometown in Cancun, and then I have opportunity to come to the USA for the very first time in 2010, I believe, or nine. I don't recall exactly. So I came for the first time. Then I left the country for another work opportunity. That was an opportunity to work overseas in Europe. So I was on board on a small boat and just going around the Mediterranean Sea. So which also give me the opportunity to travel more. And then came back to Mexico, and then came back to USA. So I've been very fortunate that the kitchen has really taken me everywhere. And I always say, if you want to travel for free, only as a cook.
Nice. So you were working on the boat for a while.
Yes, it was a very
Small boat.
small time, but definitely was an experience that was really, was very rich as far as knowing people, knowing different cultures, and of
Yeah.
course the opportunity to be in many different countries. That if that's not in that way, I don't know if I will ever be able to do it.
Yeah. Definitely different countries makes you just exposed to different ingredients, different ways of, even as simple as different ways of speaking, and it just makes it kind of richer, a lot more palette to work with.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
yeah. So when was the first time? Is there like pivoting moment, like when you know that you're gonna be, you know, you want to be a chef, or is it always no? Yeah. Tell me, when do you have an idea?
To be honest, that's a very complicated question, and it's funny because
Okay.
you get asked that a lot. And for me, I don't consider like a conventional chef. I'm not that lucky to know what I wanted to be when I was a kid.
Sure. Okay.
Sometimes you hear other chefs and they tell you that they know they want to be chefs when they were 2 years old or something like that. For me, it
Yeah.
was different, right? I even remember that I want to be a painter when I was looking at Bob Ross.
Oh, see,
So
you're a
yeah.
painter. Nice.
so
Uh-huh.
so for me, I think the marriage with the kitchen comes more of a necessity and at the same time just like a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know exactly the moment when I said I want to be a chef, but
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a moment in my life when I think, okay, this is the only thing that I know how to do, so now I'll have to do it the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it sounds dramatic, but it wasn't, right?
Uh-huh.
It
Yeah.
was exactly that. It was exactly just what makes me happy. It was exactly something that I enjoyed so much that I never realized that I was working or that I was doing something. I was always, for me, was just getting developed into this environment, and then suddenly my goals, the goals around my life, is start going towards the kitchen. It's so suddenly
Mhm.
now I want to explore more, I want to know more, and so difficult for me to tell you when is the moment when I decide that
Yeah.
I want to be a chef.
Yeah. Yeah.
First, because I think you know chef I feel it's a very strong word that nowadays everybody use it.
Okay.
But even myself, after so many years cooking, which is going to be almost 20 years cooking, I still feel like I'm learning. I still feel like when I look to those chefs that they teach me and that I look after them, I don't feel like I'm at that level yet. And I always feel like I'm a cook,
Uh-huh.
and every time that I go into a kitchen, I always try to transmit that to my staff as well. Like, all of us in the kitchen, we are the same. The kitchen look at us at the same way. Yes, there
Mm-hmm.
is titles and there is like a certain, I don't know, seniority that you have to follow.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the most beautiful thing to think is like in the kitchen, everybody, we are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Since the person who helped us to wash, since the
Mm-hmm.
person that is standing in the past or cooking
Yeah.
or serving, I think that's what I like. So I don't know. I don't think I answered your question, but I don't
No, this
really
is
have
this is
a I don't really have
uh
a determined date when I said I want to be a chef, or I don't remember if I
it's
have
it's
it.
okay. Awesome. Awesome. No, it's perfect. I think everyone is different, and then the fact that you recognizing of how you become a chef is actually an organic morph, um, just because you like doing the cooking, you like cooking, and slowly that becomes part of you, which is, I think is, I don't know, I think it's, I got chills just thinking about that, uh, because to me it's sometimes that's just part of how we recognize who we are, as a person, or as whatever you call it, career, it's, you develop it because you love it inside of you, like nobody can take that away from you. So that's like, it's a perfect um ways of discovering ourselves. You're a chef, artists as well have that feeling sometimes. They don't know when they wants to be an artist, they just like making it. And then the title of artist is just a title that you ourselves putting into ourselves, or the society label us. But then inside of us, we just like to paint, and then slowly, oh hey, I am painter. How do you know? I like making them, so I become a painter. So like for you, you like to cook, and this is a title of chef, and then hey, I'm a chef now. So cool. You know, yeah, the fire came from within, so that's the perfect kind of like the perfect metaphor of, you know, how you become one of, you know, become you. So that's perfect. That's
Thank you.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about like, give us a glimpse of what's your days like to be a chef. I have no idea like how chef works. Like what is it like? Yeah.
Yeah. So, wow, like I feel like in my case everything is different, and I believe depending what kind of chef you are, how committed you are, your day is going to be different. For me, my day, obviously, I like to wake up very early.
Okay.
I think it's just a natural thing too, because I feel like I'm always going, like just going, and so it's normal for me to wake up. I mean, right now in Seattle, 4:30 in the morning, it's already light. So I would say I can start feeling awake about something's 5:30, something's even 5, 6. I don't really go to the bed thinking I want to wake up at a determined time, unless that I have to be at work at certain time.
Uh-huh.
But if I
Yeah.
don't, I just wake up. Sometimes I try to work out, sometimes I don't, but you know.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think it's just when the journey for me starts, right? The first stage always is going to be going to my kitchen, finding a
Mhm.
little piece of fruit and just have something light for me, and just to eat. And for me already, this I feel like, okay, I'm already starting in the kitchen. So then after that it's just to see what I have to do in a day. But let's say I will describe you just like a busy day will be for me. So we'll wake up, having breakfast. Probably I will go to. Sometimes I will walk. Sometimes I will take my car, depending on how the day looks like. And then already in my mind, they are just running things like events that we have. It's going to be a busy night. What is going to be the special for the night? Uh,
Yeah.
those little things that start coming on my mind, and on my way to work is always. Sometimes I stop at the market. Sometimes I have a special guest that is coming in, and they have requests to have something special. So then for me, it
Okay.
required that more thinking. So sometimes before I work, I stop to the supermarket, or going to the market here in Seattle,
Yeah.
get some vegetables that normally I cannot get in a small
Uh-huh.
volume, or just to walk there to see what they have.
Uh-huh.
And then I go to the hotel.
Yeah. You're talking about
Um,
farmers. You're talking about the market. The what do you call that?
mhm.
Yeah. Uh, the market up there in the water and next to the water,
Yes,
near the hotel.
the Pike Place
Yeah. Okay.
Market, right? Yeah.
Pike Place
So
Market.
yeah, so I'm very fortunate to have a market next door.
Yeah, it's right
Right.
there. Yeah.
It really saves you, and it really helps me to it cover a lot of mistakes that we do when we order.
Oh,
Because
okay. So
having a market next door, give you that flexibility of that you just can walk one block away, and
yeah.
you find ingredients.
Oh.
It's always a good excuse for everything. Like if you are having a busy day, I'm just go there for a walk.
Mhm.
uh, Sometimes you just go there and you pick the flowers that when you go to the restaurant, for example, the flowers that we have on the tables, uh,
Oh, okay. Fresh
those
from
where we
the
take them
market.
we take them fresh from the market. And
Nice.
even when that's not something that it's follow onto my duties as a chef, I always would like to be involved to walk to the market,
Yeah.
get a little bit of fresh air, some inspiration, and then just come back with a nice different ideas in your brain,
Hmm.
and just a different set. Sometimes being on the kitchen the entire day for more. I really like it. I really enjoy it, but sometimes it gets a little bit difficult in the meaning of just you are just there. It's hot all the time. You're just busy. It's kind of a close environment. So
Hmm.
definitely when I do these walks, you see really really beautiful things there, and just call it ingredients, call it flowers, or or just to see the behavior of people around, and then that kind of helps you to reset. And and even if it's only 1 minute or 1 second, it really makes a difference, and you come back with a different idea to the kitchen. So I really enjoy that, and I feel very fortunate that we have that here in Seattle. For me, being so much around and being in so many different, not just here in the USA but in the world, and having a place where you can do that, I think that is a very unique thing about it.
So how long is your day usually when you start? Are you in the kitchen mostly the whole day, or
as a executive chef and working for a hotel, there is a little bit of admin job that needs to be done, which is the most that I hate. And that job, normally I do this job on when I'm in, the admin job. I try to do it after hours or early in the day before I get involved into the kitchen. And then probably I'm gonna get into a little bit of right now you hear about how the environment in the kitchen is long hours and stuff like that. And I think you make your day as long as you like, right? I'm very fortunate to work in a place that they are very respectful about your work-life balance, about how many hours you work and everything. But also in the end of the day, as a chef, I have a team that I need to take care of it. And then also being realistic, sometimes 8 hours is not enough time when you are operating in a restaurant, right? And I personally, my days are I would say they are quite long, but this is how I like, right? This is how I like to set my days, because I don't like to be running. I don't like to have nobody pushing me, and I like to really have my space where I can express myself. If I'm thinking of making a dish or making a new menu, I like to have my space, right? Sometimes I can just be watching a document in blank and then just stay there forever for 4 hours. Well, I before I can put the first line, and then when I put the first line, I change it in 5 minutes. So it's I would say my days are long. They're different. All my days are different, but just for example, talking about today, we are having this nice conversation. I will pass by the market. I will go to the hotel. First thing that I do is obviously say hi to all my staff, right? Say to just hi everybody. Then, depending of how the condition of the hotel it is, I will see if I see it on the computer or not. But let's say that today.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? It's like type of orders or type of dishes that you have to do.
Sometimes maybe I arrive and my staff is busy, the kitchen is busy, so I wouldn't go and sit on the computer, right? I just wash my hands and will get with them into the line. But then obviously if everything is set in place, I have a fantastic team. I have a fantastic sous chefs. They handle all this. So I will sit on the computer, just read it to see what I already know what my pendings are, but just to see if I have more. And then I will come back to the kitchen and just spend time with them, prepping, then doing service, and then in the end of the service, we do a family meal. And then after family meal is when I sit in the computer. And then now, basically, that's the time where the restaurant is closed, where my staff is preparing to go home. And that's also the time for me where now I have the space to do other things. And I know that I'm not going to get pulled away from this admin job. But I guess the dream is to have my own restaurant, and I don't want to have admin job.
Well, somebody else will do it for you. So you said family meal. Is that like all the staff eat together?
So it's hard sometimes when you especially working in the USA. I've been in other countries where, like Mexico, for example, Latin America or Europe, where people does not work by hour. So in those kind of settings, we definitely can all together sit down, eat a meal, and go home. And and it's a very nice feeling here in USA because you have more rules, like everybody pays by hour, overtime, those kind of rules that you need to adapt. We cooked. One of the staff cooked something for everybody at night, and then we just take a little portion, and before they go home, they eat something. Yes, of course. It's the opportunity for us to to chill down after service, and everybody just take the portion of food, and we just casually eat. And it's nothing formal, nothing. But the idea is that we eat all together, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's not just
part of the team. So yeah.
Yes, exactly. And it's not only the culinary team, right? It's also the service staff, stewarding staff,
everybody.
And that's kind of just the end of the day. That's at that point the kitchen is clean, and we just enjoy our meals, and then we go home.
So how do they pick what kind of food they gonna cook for everybody? And that people take turns, right? Like who's gonna cook at a certain time?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate on this team that I have a lot of enthusiastic people, so they actually enjoy to do it. So it's not like we have to be thinking, oh, who's gonna do it? Like people just by itself, they automatically I'm going to cook. Nice. And as far as the ingredients, we always try to approach everything. So there is certain ingredients that, for example, right now that we have, that's the halibut season here in the Pacific Northwest, right? So we bring the big fish, we portion what we need for the restaurant, and what is good for the guests. And those little scraps or fish that they don't make the cut because of the size or where they belong, we just put them aside. And just to give you an example, that will be your family meal that night maybe, and we do fish and chips, right? So we just do some French fries, and we deep fry the little piece of fish. So that's how the family works, the family meal works, right? So we always try to utilize other, just, I wouldn't call leftovers of the ingredients, because they're not leftovers. I just will say we will have to repurpose those trimmings or those things for different things, and family meal is always it's always a good option. So food doesn't go to waste, and then also we get to enjoy a little bit of what we do.
Okay, cool. So how about I'll just go through some of your food here. Talk about like how did you I assume you have to experiment with things to come up with new menu or new ideas, right? Like how do you come up with those? What's your process like trying to figure out new dish? And this is, I think, pictures here. I'm just gonna walk, slide.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think as you can tell on my pictures, what I most enjoy to do is seafood.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
And yeah, because I mean, I take a lot of pictures of everything, but I think one of my favorite things to do is seafood, right? It will depend a lot of where I am located. I mean, for example, in those pictures that you're showing right now, you can see some pictures of me being here in the Pacific Northwest, but also I can see some pictures of me when I used to work in Santa Barbara, other ones when I used to work in Arizona.
Okay.
And I highlight different ingredients. Actually, this picture that you have right there right now is a good example, right? We have the halibut, which is a Pacific Northwest ingredient, and I'm just doing a little take of an Italian version of a dish there. Then you have in the top left, you have I believe that was a crab salad. I'm from Mexico, as I mentioned before, so that's kind of a more Latin inspiring flavors. That you have the ají amarillo there, which is the yellow sauce. You have avocado. The crab is underneath, and that dish I made actually.
I can't see the crab. The crab is hidden.
Yeah, the crab is just below the avocado.
Yeah.
Right, and that particular dish, for example, is more inspiring to my Latin roots, and I did that on Arizona. And then the dish that you have on the corner, the right corner, in the bottom.
Yeah. So
that's in Santa Barbara, right? That is in Santa Barbara, and below of that, I don't recall if those were golden beets or they were persimmons, but I believe it's persimmons.
Okay. Nice.
And then there is sea orchid below that. and
Oh,
and
okay.
it's yeah. So it's just kind of, when I create an item on a menu, I will say first thing will have to be to where I am located, right?
Okay.
So I think I've been very fortunate enough that to being exposed to different kitchens, different cultures, different people, and besides all my heritage that comes from Mexico and obviously being Latin, and being very familiar with those flavors, also I'm able to to incorporate other things that I have been learning from other amazing people. And
Yeah.
so I will say first, I see myself where I am located. I always try to highlight local ingredients. I will say the second stage is going to be to pick what is on season or what is best in that particular moment. Then the third will be to see what is our theme, or what is what the restaurant does, what is what I'm trying to tell people that we are doing. And then I think after that it comes all the influences of my team and myself about how we cook, right? So it's when we put our little flair on the food that we do,
Okay.
right? So that's pretty much what goes in my mind when I'm thinking of a dish, right?
It's funny how it's sort of similar train of thoughts or process to artists as well. It's about, well, except, well, yeah, I was gonna say the location, but not necessarily the location, but definitely bringing yourself into the work. So you bring your own background flair into this work, into these dishes. So paintings as well. How can we bring ourselves into the paintings, right? So there's a similarity in that train of thoughts, and also how you learn from other people ahead of you or your mentors, and try to bring that in part of the work. So
Definitely.
this is cool. I want to eat these. uh, yeah. Do you know why you like seafood, or is it just you just like it? I mean, there's no deep reason to it.
I think my favorite place on earth is the ocean, right?
Okay.
On where you said?
So,
So I mean, what I most enjoy is the ocean. What I most enjoy is being in the water. It's one of
yeah,
my favorite hobbies besides the kitchen, right?
yeah.
And I just think that's where it comes from, right? I think there is two places where I feel completely free. One is the kitchen, and the other one is the water and the ocean.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a
Part
natural
of
thing.
you. Yeah. Part of you, I guess. Yeah. What happened here? Tell me more, right? It's kind of cool.
So this is an oyster, right?
Oh.
This is an smoked oyster, and
So-
and the inspiration for this dish, actually we take that picture, but the inspiration for this dish is that I get those oysters from the peninsula,
Okay.
and then when I obviously I know the person who makes who brings those oysters, so he invited me to his basically where the oysters are, and I don't know exactly what like the farm. I went there, and the morning that I was there, and I think this is a very familiar scenario here in the Pacific Northwest, right? So it was very foggy.
Okay.
It was gray.
Okay.
But it was early in the morning, so you get this fog that is more like a marine layer, and the entire scenario is just gray, and then you get the water, and then you just see how the marine layer kind of comes out of the water, and it's just a very flat and very steady scenario, right? It's just like many layers of gray, and then you can see the green trees in the background, and the ocean is just so steady, like doesn't really move at all. It's just right there. And I for any reason, I found that kind of a scenario is very calm.
Uh-huh.
So when I come back to the hotel, we were just I was just thinking, okay, how I can emulate that scenario that I saw that morning when we get these oysters. So this is the way how we emulate it, right? So this particular oyster is just served in this. It's actually a glass that is kind of these plain glasses.
Yeah.
So the oyster is there. We smoke the oyster and
Okay.
and then we cover it. Then of the for the accompaniments, I don't exactly remember what I put there, but I can see that there is a little bit of flowers. Maybe I put a more Pacific Northwest components there.
Yeah.
And then when it gets to the client, it goes covered. So when it hits the table, we uncover it, and then all the a little bit of the aroma of the smoke comes out, and then you just enjoy your oyster. But for me, I think in this particular plate, I think flavor is always the most important thing, right? I always tell to my cooks, like, flavor is the most important thing, but then also we need to consider the visual aspect. And I think for me in this particular dish, the visual aspect is just to try to tell the people where I get the oyster. Right?
Nice.
Not necessarily what the flavor, because obviously, it was not smoky there, but for me, it's almost like I'm describing them. I get your oyster from a place that looks like this.
Nice.
Right. So so that was a little bit that, and also I need to say that dish didn't make the menu.
Sorry, what's you breaking up?
So that dish did not make the menu, right? Because before we put something on the menu, it has many trials. So this dish only stay on the trials. We decide in the end that it will be hard for people to understand it, and then when we do little tastings, when we do we have some menus that we just do like in a tasting menu format. This dish comes up on those menus. But it's not. It's not in a menu. It's not an item that will be on my menu that people can order on the regular basis. It's just because it's not substantial enough, and then also I feel like when people comes for a tasting, they come a little bit inviting. They want to see what you're doing, but when people comes to eat, they just want to eat. So in that case, we just focus in more substantial, delicious food.
Yeah. So this is part of your process of creating new items in the menu.
Definitely.
You test these things, and some made it, some doesn't made it. So it's kind of cool. I want to be part of the tasting on that one. Try different things. Yeah. So I mean, like, my paintings is all about like mixing up really different ingredients that, to be honest, doesn't make sense sometimes. But so how about, have you ever had mixed ingredients that's kind of weird, or like trying to pushing it a little bit more? Anything that's surprised you?
So, it's hard because I'm a very good eater. It's
So you like everything then?
like I think there is really, really, really a few things that I don't enjoy.
Okay.
So I have never been in that stage to put flavors that I don't really.
You don't really like.
That I don't really like, because I know I'm a chef and I shouldn't say this, but I'm that kind of guy that I can eat my entire meal in one bowl.
Okay.
Right. But I will say there is certain ingredients that I don't necessarily love. I avoid to use them, but I don't know. I always feel that it doesn't matter what is the connection between one ingredient and another one. Yes, of course, there is some ones that they work really well and other ones that they don't as well. Yeah. But I think they still having a little bit of something there. I don't know. I haven't get to that point where I will tell you two particular ingredients that they don't taste good together. I'm pretty sure there is a lot of them, but I really like to eat, so it's very hard to me to identify those. Okay. But I can tell you that something that I don't like is sweet with fish.
Oh, sweet
which when it's just straight sweet, right? Because also you have a lot of Asian combinations, but I don't feel like on the Asian cuisine they're always more complex, right? It's not just sweet that you get from sugar and a piece of fish. I think the Asian cuisine is so delicate, where they give you spicy, sweet, sour at the same time, and then your palate just chooses what is the strongest in there, right? It's just depending what your background and how educated your palate. But I would say I will never just put straight sugar in a fish.
Got it. Right? It's more complex than that. You're saying
exactly
it's more delicate than that. Yeah.
Well, I just don't know. I don't want to be misunderstood, because a lot of the Asian dishes are sweet, and I enjoy them a lot. But I think it's not just to add sugar and that's it. It's way more complex than that.
Yeah. Well, maybe the next challenge would be for you to cook my titles. and see which one that makes no sense. Yeah. All right. Well, maybe one more. I mean, if you if you have any advice for new chef or other artists about how you find your drive into making this, it feels like a piece of art, like this edible art. Like what would you say? I mean, seems like you have some kind of process nailed down.
I just think that it's I mean, be patient and be constant, right? And then also be aware of what is around you. I think if I compare myself, I mean, not going that far, right? Even just before I arrived to Seattle and I met my new team, I'm pretty sure it was a different kind of chef, right? After learning from them, from my team, and you learn from everybody, and you learn every day. It's just like you are getting more skills into your bag, and that I always encourage that to everybody, right? Like I feel like being a chef, or even as being an artist, you sometimes you need to be a little bit humble and then just receive everything from everywhere. And that's where I feel the biggest inspirations come from. And I said, like, if I need to give advice, you just need to be patient. You just need to be tried. You need to be able to fail. You need to be able to take 20 hours to do something, and as soon as it's done, you don't like it, right?
That's right.
So
yeah.
And you need to be able to start again, and you need to make sure that you enjoy it, because I think that's the most important part, right? You need to enjoy it. I really, being a chef is not easy. It requires a lot of sacrifice in many aspects, right? Like for myself, being away from the people that I love, and now that this COVID situation, right, it making it a little bit worse. But I think it's just like, make sure that you like what you do, and if you like it, you can just start over after every single time that you make a mistake. But I think it's just that, right? Feeling a lot of respect for everything around you is very important, right? Like for me as a cook, to respect the ingredients, to just to treat them properly, and obviously now as a chef leading a kitchen, just respect every single staff member and listen what they have to say, and let them do what they have to do. And I think that's what really makes you very rich.
Nice. Okay, well, that's great. Again, well, thank you again for your time.
Thank you, it was really nice.
This is fun to getting to know you a little bit more, and now if I eat your food, I have more context of where it comes from. So, and and also your advice on working as an artist. So this is really helpful. So, well, thank you, and enjoy your rest of your day.
Thank you. Same for you.
And I'll see you sometime.
Absolutely, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you. Bye.
Bye.